Welcome to Gurren Lagann, a sci-fi mecha anime series and movie set that describes the journey of Simon, Kamina, and Yoko, who are on a quest to defeat the Spiral King that is responsible for keeping the human race underground with his beastmen and gunmen. Well, at least in the first arc. I should mention though, this review is going to be spoiler heavy, so make sure you've either watched the entire anime, well, except for episode 6, or watch the two movies, so you aren't spoiled by any key plot points or moments you'd want to experience blind. Without further ado, let's dive into my review for Gurren Lagann. Starting out, let's cover this series presentation. Gurren Lagann is a beautiful looking series for 2007, good lord. It may be due to their lead animators at Studio Gainax, going off to found Studio Trigger, who are known for their unique Brie animation styles, being the reason as to why this series looks so good. But if we're not putting the animation studio debate aside, this series still looks fantastic. If you're not gushing over the beautifully animated action scenes, you're feeling the mood of the scenes through its choice of tone and colour schemes. The eye catches are beautifully crafted and are relevant to the current situation or future ones. Character designs are either fun and simple, or complex and awesome. Some designs are a little iffy, but I never thought of any of the characters were outright bad. The gunmen throughout the series are also sick and well designed, especially the ones our protagonists use throughout the series. Hell, even the antagonists have awesome gunmen as well. Everyone is beautifully presented. How many times can I say beautiful? The environments are gorgeous, attacks are spectacular, and it is overall a beautiful series to look at. Again, with the beautiful. It may get rough at times, but it's nothing unbearably bad. It borders the line between good and mediocre. Overall, it is a beautiful... I'm saying something else. It is a fantastic looking series for 14 years ago. Fantastic. Overall, it is a gorgeous looking series for 14 years ago. Fantastic job. There we go. Now we move on to the meat and potatoes of this review. And that is the series story. Now, I'll warn you one last time. Spoilers alert. This is pure spoiler territory from here on out. And if you're fine with that, let's get into this. Starting out with the first arc, the Spiral King arc, I'm going to say what you may consider a controversial opinion. The first arc is pretty hit or miss. Granted, the movies handled this a lot better, but I'll cover the movies after the anime version. But first, hear me out before you butcher me for my opinion on the first arc. Starting out, the first episode does a very good job at hooking your teeth into one character that you all know and love, Kamina, the blood brother of Simon, and one of the greatest characters in the entire series. That's not an exaggeration either, no. Kamina has a massive effect on the series as a whole, and his presence is felt from start to finish. First arc, Simon came across as a young lad with plenty of potential that he couldn't tap into, because he felt insignificant compared to Kamina. You will see this trait a lot in the anime version, and it gets old very quickly. Thankfully, his character does eventually improve a lot, but it takes quite a while to get to that point. So much so that we're pretty much near the end of the first arc by the time we get there, but I digress. As for Yoko is a very cool character, even if they do shove the fan service in your face a little too often for my liking. Cough, cough, episode 6. My problem with Yoko is that she's very flip-floppy when it comes to a character. She can go from crushing for Simon to getting annoyed that he's coming with Kamina to hunt for food. I thought she liked Simon. It's even worse when, before the fight for Gunzan, she shows signs she's crushing for Simon, and Simon apparently crushes for her too because they talked a few times. Then he's heartbroken when she kisses Kamina instead of him. Where did this relationship establish? What is happening? It's even more annoying that this stupid heartbreak crap is part of the reason Kamina got killed during battle. Then it leads into Simon wailing for about 5 episodes before Nia claps him out of it. Anyways, enough ranting. The progress of Kamina's movement and seeing Gurren and Lagann develop as the series goes on will never not be awesome to watch. We can go from barely fighting one gunman to fighting an entire army of them, and this escalation factor gets to insane proportions in the second arc. Simon's development after Nia, the Spiral King's abandoned daughter, snaps him out of his Kamina depression arc is a lot more enjoyable than his character beforehand, as we get to see Simon's heart and soul flourish, which is a joy to see on screen. Now, as for the Spiral King, he was a very entertaining villain, or so we thought. Haha, turns out, he's not exactly evil, per se. Rather, he was keeping humanity under a certain threshold to prevent the second arc antagonist from appearing, the anti-Spiral. Overall though, the story and characters of the first arc are a bit flippy-floppy in the first half, but it definitely picks up in the second half. And it sets the foundation for the amazingly beautiful second arc, the anti-spiral arc. Now let's cover that. After a 7-year time skip, we get to see the characters as adults and teenagers, with Simon planning to marry Nia, who for some reason is too dense to realise what that means. But after humanity fucked too much and it got the population to a high level, it causes Nia to transform and reveal herself as the anti-spiral messenger and activates the human extinction thingy that the Spiral King warned about. See what I mean about how he wasn't evil, rather doing what had to be done? You'll see this trait quite a lot with the antagonists. Anyways, to cut this short, as the videos are getting a bit too long, Roshu, the forehead kid, pins the blame of Mugen's destruction of the city on Simon, and he gets fucking sent to prison with Virel, or Virel, however you say his name. I'll talk about him separately. Roshu, the 5-head kid, sends the gang into space. Where the anti-spiral comes from. Again, Bonehead with a 6 head right here. Simon clutches up in a quest to find his wife, Nia, in the most beautifully crafted fight scenes and emotional confrontations I've seen in years. We go from a space war to a universe war to a fucking spacey to intergalactic war to dimensional war. This series escalates so much and it's fucking great. How does this all end, you ask? With the death of the anti-spiral, the creator Nia, who is a virtual life form, Nia is on borrowed time. And her last moments is her marrying Simon before fading away, which is something Simon knew would happen and just didn't really struggle to fight it. After this and the wedding, he leaves and passes the torch to Roshu, the 7-head kid, before a 20-year time skip, showing our characters in their 40s and 50s before revealing that, in the anime at least, the series narrator was an older Simon talking about his life. He literally narrates his own life. That shit's so cool. But overall, it is a bittersweet ending, if you will. And to sum it all up, the story of the second arc is the absolute peak. It doesn't get any better than the second arc. It shits on the first arc without issue. But since I've droned on for the story about way too long, let me dive into one last topic. The entertainment value. Fight the power! I've been saving Virel for this particular segment. There's nothing more entertaining than seeing a beast mode rival type character like Virel appear with his edgy ass theme song, ready to kick ass, where he gets his ass kicked, then he appears again. You are not keeping this man down. He always bounces back. He never gives up, no matter how hard you kick his ass. The respect of a warrior this man holds throughout the story is a beautiful one to watch, and to see him develop into an ally with the ability to use spiral energy at some point was a joy to watch. My heart fucking sank when Viral's dream was to have a family life, something he can't normally have because beastmen are incapable of reproducing. This is just one of many entertaining characters throughout the series. Kitan, brother of the Black siblings, is an absolute hothead and he's a joy to see on screen. His uber Chad energy in the place of Kamina was always fun to watch, and he just dominated damn near every scene he was in. Yoko in the second arc is a lot more enjoyable too, becoming a teacher and staying as one for long enough to become its principal. He's just really sweet and cute. She's also a lot more badass this time around, albeit a sacrifice to her clothing. And who could forget the most valued MVP of the entire series, the one who everyone has to offer their thanks for clutching the Gurren Lagann gang. Now obviously that title goes to Old Man Coco. Seriously, he's a legend and he barely appears. But don't think I didn't forget about Liron or Ron. Don't you worry. Who could forget about the non-binary icon who's the reason why gunmen are as OP as they are? Enough about the characters though. The battle sequences themselves are great, both in and out of gunmen and mechs. The choreography is fantastic and I love the spattered dialogue between them. The message about defying the odds and letting go is enforced heavily throughout the series. Letting go of your fears of the unknown, letting go of your fears of the enemy, letting go of your uncertainty against the impossible, letting go of your reliance on those who you view as better than you to become the next leader your friends need, and letting go of the people who have no more time left in this world. I could go on, but you sort of get the message. Hell, the famous Fight the Power song kind of emphasizes this message too. Speaking of the music, it is a fucking bop, and they go insanely hard with every track. They fit the mood and the atmosphere perfectly when they need to, and they make the most raw moments in the show even rawer. But yeah, Gurren Lagann is insanely entertaining to watch, and it is well worth your time. Just a recommendation though, just don't watch episode 6, trust me, it's terrible. Before I forget though, let me just mention the movies. The first movie is pretty much leading up to the final battle against the Spiral King. It's quite different from the anime as the three generals turn up all at once instead of one at a time, which really raises the stakes. They also defeat all at once though, before it ends at the fight before the Spiral King, but you know, something had to happen before then. The second movie is pretty much the second arc as a whole, but vastly improved. We get to see more character moments, especially Viral and Kamina, whilst our favourite side characters get to live this time. They don't die! Woo! But the same can't be said for Kitan though, rip my goat. The fight is also a lot different. It's grittier too actually, but the ending is more or less the same, except this time, Simon keeps their wedding ring on his necklace in place of the drill, whereas in the anime he kind of just left the ring on the grave, which, I don't know, it didn't really sit right with me personally, but whatever. Alas, let's just move on to my conclusion of this fantastic anime series. Gurren Lagann is beautiful, start to finish. It may be founded on a rocky start, but when it picks up, it really picks up. The series makes you care for these characters and their struggles, making you root for them in their darkest times and crushing your soul when they die or sacrifice themselves. If you haven't watched the series for yourself, please go and give it a watch. Hell, go and rewatch it. It's well worth your time and it has aged beautifully for an anime that is over 14 years old now. Just remember, believe in the you that believes in you, because at the end of the day, only you and your indomitable human spirit can pull yourselves out of your darkest times. On that note though, make sure to go and follow my girlfriend Choco and my friend Tapioca on Twitter. I'll leave them in the description below. These two introduced me to Gurren Lagann and they're super fun people to be around. On that note, enjoy this eye catcher for the outro. Thank you for watching.